Hey guys, this is Simon from MagicMayhemHobbies. This is my first video. This is a video of Sandbag Mounds. And I've just set up this channel. If you're interested in scenery, battle reports and all that kind of thing, just click subscribe, give me a like if you like it, or if you don't, give me a dislike, it's up to you. I'm going to show you how to make these quick and simple barricades, sandbag mounds. Nice little pieces of scatter terrain. There we go. Don't take very long to make. Nice and easy. And we'll go into that now. Right, okay, let's start off. Got some MDF board, a couple of mils thick. 2 or 3, not too sure, just some bits I had left over. Pencil, ruler, and some blue foam board. This is about 1 inch thick. Probably about half that would have been better, but I can cut it down, I'm not too bothered. So I'm going to measure mine about 1.5 inches. Doesn't matter if you get it perfect. I'm not the best at cutting straight anyway. Right, there we go. Next up, you're going to need one of these, jigsaw. This has cut so many things and been so awesome over the years. I would highly recommend getting one. Especially if you work with wood a lot, like I do. Right, I'm not going to do that right now, because I've got one that I've made already. Got your foam board. Got your MDF, glue it on there, bit of PVA, nice and simple. So we'll move on to the next step. Alright, as you can see, I've cut it down. It's not quite so tall now, so it's going to be right about the height of that one. And all we've got to do now is just cut it all down, all around the edges, just to give it that sort of hill look, or mound, however you want to call it. Don't worry about being too neat. It's a mound of dirt after all. Any old knife's good. It's just some cheap knife I had lying around. Maybe cut into it a bit here and there, or bits of the mound have either collapsed or been hit by shells, whatever you want really. I'm going to use this knife just to cut a few little bits out. There you go. Some rocket, missile, whatever has hit that, blown a big chunk out of it. Let's have another one over here. This is battle after all. There we go. Dig a little bit out there as well. There you go, lovely. A little bit of neatening up. And we're ready to start chucking our sandbags on there. Right, let's make ourselves some sandbags. As you can see, I've got a nice pile of sandbags I made earlier. But I'm going to make a couple, just to show you guys how to make them. Here we go, let's pick a couple of these. That's the texture on those is from using this tea strainer, which I've been told makes them look a bit like quilted pillows. But this is war, who knows what kind of texture stuff they use. You can use Hessian. I've got some Hessian, but I quite like the texture of these, and it's nice and simple and quick and easy, so I'm going to use that. I'm using Das modelling clay. Got my little scraping tool for when they get stuck to the wood. Got a razor saw, which I use to chop. Use a knife, whatever you want. I just use that because it's lying around. And yeah, use a board because this is going to get messy. And here we go. Roll it into a nice little sausage. Now the size of your sandbags is entirely dependent on how thick you make this sausage and how big you cut your chunks out. Obviously these are quite big. If you want little ones, make tiny little ones, but I'm going for quite big ones just because I like the look. Alright, chop the end off. Don't need that. Oh, there you go, there's one. Now you can measure these, get the right sort of length every single time, but I'm not that fussed. Literally this is just quick and easy. If you want to churn out loads of terrain, it doesn't have to be difficult. You don't have to spend entire days on each piece. Once you chuck it on a battlefield with a load of other stuff, it's going to look awesome. I know some people get so caught up on every little detail, but when you've got a whole battlefield covered in terrain, it just looks awesome. Right, let's grab one of these. Just going to push the edges down a little bit and then squeeze that onto there. Now if you squeeze down at the ends, either side, squash it down and you get yourself a nice flattened sort of sandbag look. And just get my little scraper. There you go. How quick and easy is that? Keep the little frayed edges. Oop. Yeah, keep those little frayed edges. Don't make it too neat. It's a sandbag, it's been chucked on a mound. It may have been there for years. You're going to be covering it in mud and all sorts. So yeah, that's how it looks. And if you want to go one little step extra, there you go, get my scraping tool, make a little tear in it. Try and do this so you can actually see. There you go, and just pull that bit out there. There we go. Alright. Now it's going to look like the sandbag's ripped and the sand's come out. You want it to be nice and messy, you don't want it to look neat. This is a sandbag that's been ripped open, grenades going off, missiles, whatever, mortar. Yeah. And when you come to texturing it with a little bit of sand later on, you'll glue some sand in there and it'll look like the sandbags come open. Alright, so I'm going to finish the rest of these and we'll go on to the next step. Right, now we're going to attach our sandbags to our mound. Now if you've let these dry, they're going to dry in all sorts of random positions, so you might need to make a load of these and just try fiddling about, seeing what fits where, and yeah, whatever you like. So just chuck a couple on there, see how they look. So this one's dried with the sides sort of coming up in an odd sort of position, so I can do that overlapping the other one quite nicely. There you go, almost looks like it was made to go on that one. And I'm not too sure about that one. Let's have a look at another one. No, not too sure about that one. There we go, one going sideways, one not. And chuck one on top of there. No, don't like that, don't like that. Nope. This could take a while. There you go, that looks pretty cool. Just take those sandbags out of that hole a little bit, because it looks a bit weird they're sort of overhanging it. You want it to look fairly natural. Alright, I quite like that. I'm going to go with that. Okay, bit of standard PVA glue, nothing special, and whatever random brush I've got lying around on my desk, that one will do. Right, so we're going to work from, I'll start with that one, chuck it on there. This stuff's going to dry clear and you're going to cover it in sand, so it really doesn't matter. Alright, just carry that on until you get to the end. And then we'll let that dry and we'll go on to the next step. Once these have dried, or even if it hasn't dried, it doesn't really matter. As long as PVA glue is going to hold them in place, it's all good. What we're going to do now is we're just going to cover it. Cover all of the blue foam in PVA glue. And this is what you're going to be using to attach all your gravel or whatever else you want to use. I'm using some Javis Sand and Stone mix, which has a pretty good mixture of fine gravel and bigger pieces. The only thing you've got to watch out for is those bigger pieces do tend to fall off quite easily, so once you put the gravel on, you might want to go over it again with another layer of PVA just to sort of seal it in. As you can see, my blue foam doesn't go right to the edge of the board, but that doesn't matter because we're going to be putting gravel in there anyway, so it'll all fill itself out in the end. There you go, plenty of glue right in there. Don't worry if you go over your sandbags as well, because, well, it's all mud and dirt all over the place. Everything's going to be covered. Put little bits of glue in the recesses where all the sand and dirt's all piled up. This is what quick and simple terrain is all about. You want to make sure you cover as much of the blue foam as possible if you're going to be using spray paints and stuff, because some sprays do tend to eat into the foam. And the last thing you want is your foam completely dissolving, unless you like the look, but that's not what I'm going for right now, so I'm going to completely cover it. And the MDF board, cover that in glue if you want. Have all the rubble and everything going right down to the bottom, or don't cover it. Doesn't really matter. It's all going to look cool in the end. There we go. I think pretty much got everything covered now. A few little bits here and there. Get a little bit under there, a little bit up on top of there. Alright, a little bit more right there. Right, job done. Right. Now, sand and stone. Chuck it on there. Don't hold back. Right, leave that to dry, give it a couple of hours, overnight, however long you think, and then when you're done, tap it all off, and we'll move on to that next step.